There's this aching feeling I have that inside of a black hole, there's not infinite pressure, infinite mass. It's this itching, sneaking, completely unfounded idea that these light-absorbing, massive gravity shapes are gateways to different realities. One of my favorite SCPs I've ever had the pleasure of learning about is SCP-3300. Before I elaborate on what this is, I'm going to be spoiling the plot twist of the story. In the description, I'll leave two paths to experience it firsthand. First, a video reading the story, and second, the actual link to the story itself. In this beautifully written story, there is this area filled with a sentient, fully functional town, Clearwater. What an ironic, cruel name. The townspeople are alive. They talk, have memories, nightmares, they wear clothes, have jobs, but they're like cicadas. If you've never experienced a cicada or know about them, a cicada is an insect. They live very weird lives. They bury in the earth for an indescribable length of time, sometimes a decade or two, some more, some less. After dwelling in the earth, they show up all over the ground and make infinitely loud noises. It's like they appear out of thin air to annoy you during the summer. And then after a month, they all die. Poof! Just drop dead. It's like they were never there. Obviously, there are bodies. But after the bodies are gone, it's quiet for a long time. The people of SCP-3300 are like that. They live for a full year, they get swallowed by a storm, and then they never existed at all. They're replaced by new faces, new memories. When the people are losing their shape, the storm is impossible to escape. I wonder if black holes have people living inside of their pool. My mind, it creates a mystical illusion of worlds, filled with wonder for what is possibly behind that impossible barrier. Like the black hole, no one can see inside the storm. If anyone tries to get in, they don't spaghettify into infinity like a black hole, but instead they pop out on the other side. It is cruel to elaborate on this fact, because inside, the same rule rings true. If you try to escape, you'll end up back where you started and beyond, behind you on the other edge of town. There is no escape, only the water. The new townsfolk have similar nightmares to the insensate. I'm deeply haunted by the quote written about the recurring nightmare that will soon become a reality for them too. I don't want to go back. I'm fascinated by the movement in and out of places and time. Time travel. It's always been interesting to me. The name, the Doctor, is a beloved one among science fiction fans. The creature with so human-like features, with two hearts, pumping impossible rhythms inside of its alien body. They travel to the end of time. The place is impossible. Inside their blue British police box. But that box itself is something that terrifies me, with its infinitely warping walls, changing corridors, bigger on the inside structure, It spirals out infinitely. A universe hidden within a small, impossible to penetrate, wooden box. There is an episode of the show in which the Lovecraftian labyrinth structure of the box, in which the space characters often comically riff about, becomes a nightmare. Time doesn't work linearly in the box. Death isn't the end. The box itself distorts reality to confuse and befuddle even its most beloved passengers, hallway after hallway. The web of lying rooms and walls linked together. The cast, they see themselves over and over, sometimes alive, sometimes dead, sometimes more than dead, and sometimes there's more than one of them at a time. This is what I, a mere mortal, unable to feel the process of spaghettification, or, no, the refusal of my mind to accept the reality of science telling me what would happen to my frail human frame, thinks the inside of a black hole could be. My obsession with different universes probably stems from a very much cheesy, constantly under threat of destruction by something Magic the Gathering multiverse. Specifically, the concept of the blind alternities, Eldritts. Eldrazi creatures that exist between the spaces of realities. Plural. Creatures that can travel to any dimension, that can corrupt what they choose, that warp reality itself. These creatures are mesmerizing to my simple one-planar mind. The idea of creatures living in the rift between our world and the next, I want to deeply call out, to my own detriment, to touch these corrupted, unspoken shapes. Now, I'm gonna talk about League lore. If you clicked off, I get it. In the world of Runeterra, there is this second plane that is seeping into the holes in reality, opened by corrupted magic used in the past. The Void, as many fictions call it. It wants to not be. It wants everything to not be. So it reaches out, a tendril of corruption, mimicking the form of the world. Beings of unspeakable shapes pour out and collect things, data, flesh, life, adapting slowly to better collect. The Void screams for silence, and will shape life into existence to cut reality's windpipe. What does it feel like to touch that silence? Even eternal beings, like the Doctor, don't want to go back to that silence. An echo of the quote earlier from the SCP story appears in this media too, in the same shape, like a storm, changing the shape of their soul. The Doctor wants to remain who they are against the river, they say.
I don't want to go.
Sometimes, I feel the opposite of these people. I wish to feel nothing at all. Like them, the mere adjacency to the void, to nothing itself, makes me pull back. But my curiosity will always probably haunt me to the day I perish into oblivion.